Chiefs rookie minicamp takes place this weekend, marking yet another step in the offseason training program. The camp will include all 7 of the Chiefs draft picks, more than a dozen undrafted free agents, and over 40 tryout players trying to show that they belong. Now, the guys aren't wearing pads in this camp, there's no live hitting taking place, but it's still a great opportunity for these rookies to lay a foundation for the rest of the summer, especially for when the veterans get here in just a few weeks. So with all that in mind, let's talk about some of the undrafted free agents that'll be taking the field for the Chiefs this weekend. And one guy that I'm excited to watch is former Clemson tight end Jake Brenningstool. A 6'5", 241-pound prototypical move tight end sort of player, Brenningstool lined up in the slot on 60% of his snaps over the last 2 seasons. He was productive too, with 99 receptions for over 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns over the last 2 years. And for his career, Brenningstool's 127 catches were the most by a tight end in school history. He was also the number 10 tight end and a projected 5th-round pick on Dane Brugler's big board for The Athletic, so he's a guy worth watching. Another player to know is former Florida wide receiver Elijah Badger. He was Arizona State's leading receiver in both 2022 and 2023 before transferring to Florida ahead of last season, and all he did was pick right up where he left off, leading the Gators in receiving with 806 yards. He was one of just 5 FBS receivers to average more than 20 yards per catch last year, and he didn't record a single drop on 61 targets. 83% of his catches picked up either a first down or a touchdown last year, and he showed off good speed at the combine too, running a 4.43 40-yard dash. The Chiefs also added an offensive lineman from not too far down the road in former Oklahoma State left tackle Dalton Cooper. The 6'5", 326-pound Cooper recorded 19 starts at left tackle for the Cowboys over the last 2 seasons. And looking at last year specifically, he didn't allow a single sack on 285 pass blocking snaps. He started 36 games at left tackle for Texas State from 2020 through 2022 before transferring to Oklahoma State, and despite facing tougher competition in the Big 12, Cooper more than held his own, and he'll now have a chance to compete for a spot in the Chiefs' offensive line room. On the other side of the ball, linebacker Brandon George from Pitt is worth keeping an eye on too. He recorded 717 defensive snaps last season, notching 80 tackles, 26 pressures, 5.5 tackles for loss, 3 forced fumbles, and a pass defensed. He also put together an impressive pro day, logging a 42.5-inch vertical jump at 6'3" and 246 pounds. The Chiefs also signed a safety from Maryland in Glendon Miller, a player with good size at 6'3", 207 pounds, who mostly lined up over the slot last year. He was a ball hawk with 7 interceptions over the last 2 seasons, and he put together a great pro day as well, recording a 4.44 40-yard dash and a 38-inch vertical jump that would have ranked 4th among all safeties at the combine had he been there. So those are just a few names to know from this year's class of undrafted free agents. There's also punter Eddie Shupitsky out of USC. He won the Ray Guy Award last year as a top punter in the nation. Wide receiver Mac Delana from Fresno State is also interesting. He was one of just 7 FBS receivers with at least 5 catches of 50 or more yards last year, plus he has big-time special teams experience. Melvin Smith Jr. is a cornerback out of Southern Arkansas who logged some ridiculous production over the last 2 years with 35 passes defensed and 9 picks. He also ran a 4.39 at his pro day. Defensive tackle Keziah Izzard from Penn State appeared in 51 games during his career and showed off a 33.5 vertical jump at 298 pounds during his pro day, so he's interesting. And former Washington State offensive tackle Issa Polle didn't allow a sack on nearly 500 pass blocking snaps last year. The point is, these guys can play, and they're each going to have an opportunity to earn a spot on the Chiefs roster throughout the summer, and it all begins this weekend.